Hello and welcome to the Node.js Foundation Technical Steering Committee on July 11th in 2018. First off, does anybody have any announcements? Okay, then the first issue on the agenda is a Node.js build. It's issue 1337, great issue number. Request for elevated permissions. From my last information, I think we can leave this to the build working group to figure this out. And Rich is going to set up a meeting to handle some more of the details. Is there anything else somebody wants to add?
No.
Okay. Great, then we can move right on to the Node.js node issues. There's one doc, remove two unused error codes from errors.md. It's issue 21491. Nikita, do you want to take this?
Yes, that's mine. I think that based on the history of the file, we generally remove. Give me a moment to open the link. Yes, we generally remove unused error codes from that file, but there was an objection from JE. I think she's not here now. And the objection was that we should not remove unused error codes and that we should instead restore all the removed ones back. I don't think that anyone else has concerns with that pull request except for GUI, so I think that perhaps we could shift this to the next meeting when GUI will be present.
Sounds good, yeah. I think most of us have not reviewed it yet, so we could do that, and then it definitely makes sense to talk about it when Joy is here. So thanks for the update, and we'll just keep it on the agenda for next week. Then the next item is on Node.js TSC. It's the tracking issue for updates from the board meetings. Miles?
Hey, there's been new meetings since the last one that we updated on. Nothing to discuss at the moment.
Okay, great. Then we can move on to the tracking issue for the strategic initiatives. It's issue 423. And first up is James for HTTP2 updates.
Hello. Yeah, for HTTP2, we're just trying to figure out the last set of things to get it out of experimental. I had opened an issue on that. We got some responses. I've been on vacation for the past week, so I haven't gone through those yet to determine what to compile what those next steps are. Should be doing that this week. The goal is to get it out of experimental by the end of August, before 10 goes into LTS in October. So.
Great. And are there also plans to backport it to 8 once it's out?
Yeah, most of it's already been backported to 8. It's just a matter of keeping that up to date as we move towards completion.
Okay, great. Then Miles, anything on modules?
We have a meeting a little bit later today. We've been digging into a few more specific implementations and just kind of how those implementations, the edge cases them, and kind of working through them. Nothing major to report right now, although there is a bit of a transition going on right now from like discussion to more implementation. So this is positive progress in my personal opinion.
Okay. Then Michael, any updates on NAPI?
So on the NAPI front, just continued focus on the doc for Node add-on API as well as evangelism. So working on, there's a workshop at Node Summit, as well as 2 talks. And we're also planning a blog when Node 8 goes out, December reminder of Node 8 goes out to sort of let people know that it's available across all the different releases and the current stability status.
Sweet, thanks. OpenSSL evolution Rod is not here. Does anybody else have updates for that? Anna is not here for workers. Any updates? We already heard about error messages. I don't think there are other updates, are there? That's Joy's task. And then James, core promise APIs.
We're progressing there. The the test coverage for FS promises is it's definitely improving. We're getting folks kind of kicking the tires on that, kind of figuring out what where the rough edges are. There is an effort to, I think, I'm not sure if the PR is landed yet, but there was the PR to get promises support for the DNS module. At this point, it's just going to be a matter of incrementally going through a bit slowly and add promises where they make sense, and make sure we're just making sure we're being very deliberate about it. So no significant updates at this point. It's just marching forward.
Okay, is this something where the community can help if they're interested?
Oh yeah. Anybody can look at any of the modules and look to see where promises make sense. The complicating factor is that some folks have asked in the past, just do it across the board, just make every function promisable, promisified, and that doesn't actually make sense. There's a lot of methods where just a promisified version is actually would be breaking or would be would have to be given a lot more thought. So it would just be the thing that anybody can jump in, but just expect it to take a while.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're interested in helping out with Node Core, go and bug James and look at the issue tracker. Yeah. Then Miles is next with governance initiative.
Yeah. Haven't had too much time to dig into this right now. We made a shift from it being TSC governance to general project governance. If anyone thinks that that's not really sufficient or a good idea, please feel free to let me know and we can discuss it. I think the main idea around this would be discussions around some of the governance of the project, especially how we're handling pull requests to try to improve our overall LTS strategy. We've started to onboard some more people to LTS. I think the plan is to start spinning up meetings again, and those meetings are going to generate, the hope would be suggestions and proposals as to overall governance changes that we could be making to how we manage pull requests to improve, our velocity in maintaining LTS releases.
Okay, thanks. The next up is new Streams API, Jeremiah or James.
I did some cleanup on the published NPM modules last week. So that's the fs-source and the fs-sync modules. Nothing else other than that right now, unfortunately.
Okay. Then is V8 up to date or any changes there? Michael, if you want to put anything in the chat, we can read that out for you. Ali is not here for async hooks. Anybody else have an update? Okay, so about V8, Michael is saying, update to V8 6.8, waiting for build changes because more recent version of macOS is needed. Peter Marshall opened a pull request to patch ABI compatibility with Node 10, so that will allow us to make more V8 updates without breaking ABI. And the Canary build is currently broken, but Anna is working on a fix.
Right. The thing I think is good for us to touch on here is on the OS X version, we need to make a decision, I guess, in two different things with respect to 6.8 is like, are we okay with no longer having people be able to build with OS X 10.10 for master? And then I guess separately, whether we're willing to backport that. The the other piece is, I guess, Marls, you were going to talk to the V8 team to see if there's a way that, is it that there's a broad number of changes that require that new compiler, or is there just a few we might work around to avoid that, at least for like backporting? I think going forward, we maybe should just decide we can do it, but the backporting to previous releases like 10 might be a different case.
Yeah, that's, thanks for reminding me. I got to follow up on that.
Okay, and there is an issue in terms of the, let me find the issue, I'll paste that in the build working group, which is, it may not be obvious from the title, but OSX, if I can find it, because it would be good if people just sort of chimed in there and said, yeah, we have no problem with the dropping 10.10 in master. Anyway, I'll paste it in the chat afterwards and add it to the minutes.
Okay.
They'll wait on me.
Thank you. And then Miles, you up again with NPM integration.
Yeah, we have a pull request open. Do you have the list in front of you right now, Franziska? Could you share?
Yes, it's pull request in Node.js node 21594.
So this pull request has, a bunch of +1s on it right now. Doesn't seem to be any objections. And it just outlines a policy for keeping NPM up to date inside of core. Specifically, new pull requests should be opened when a next version of NPM has been released. Once the next version has been promoted to latest, the PR should be updated as necessary. 2 weeks after the latest release has been promoted, it can land on master, assuming no major regressions are found. There is no additional constraints for some very major releases. I think maybe that should be there are. Anyways, I'll get to that after. The Node.js release stream, the Node.js release streams the new version will land into are at the discretion of the release and LTS teams. This process only covers full updates to new versions of NPM. Cherry-picked changes can be reviewed and landed via the normal consensus seeking process. This PR has been open for 12 days now. It has approvals from 3 TFC members, and both Iarna and Kat, the maintainers of the NPM CLI, have chimed in that they feel comfortable with this pull request. Since it appears to me that we actually have quorum or close to quorum on this call, are there any objections or concerns that people on the call have? And if I were to move ahead with landing this and closing out this initiative.
Instead of asking for that here, let's give everybody a chance to read through the issue and do regular reviews there.
Okay.
Cool, thanks. And then you are up again with open web standards.
Nothing major to talk about right now with web standards. TC39 meetings coming up in 2 weeks' time. I won't be attending, but other members from the team are. Recently joined W3C working group and starting to wrap my head a little bit around that and where we can get engaged, and been having conversations with people from the What working group, kind of meta conversations about how we can get more engaged, but it's still very much in the early discussion phase.
Cool. Who is our representative at the next TC39 meeting? Do you know?
Gus will be there, is the one person that I know of for sure will be there.
I'm also
Thanks, Gus.
And then also Jordan Harband.
Okay, thanks, Gus and Jordan.
Oh, and I'm also going to be there.
Thanks, Timothy. Okay, so thanks everybody for the updates. We have one more issue that is proposal, add all new core modules under scope, too late for HTTP 2, and that is in Node.js TSC issue 389. The last comment on the issue was almost 2 weeks ago, and there's currently work in progress, pull requests and commits. I think right now we have nothing to discuss there. We just let the pull requests do the work. Okay, no objections. I like that. And that was it for today, unless anybody has something that I forgot. We take questions on the YouTube chat. we can just wait a tiny little bit to see if somebody wants to ask anything. Well, if you're still listening and you have a question, you can post it and we'll try to answer it next week, or you can open an issue. So for upcoming meetings, have a look at the Node.js Foundation calendar. It's at nodejs.org/calendar. Thanks everybody for listening. Bye-bye.